Lesson 13-2, stem and leaf plot. The one thing that you need to remember is the stem is usually the biggest place value, and the leaves are the second biggest place value. So what we're going to do here today is I want you to think of your mom's ages, okay, or your mom's age, and we're going to make a list of your mom's ages. I'm kind of made an assumption that they would be anywhere from their 20s to their 50s. Basically, the first time that I did this example, that's what they were in, so that's kind of what I went with. But if we have to make adjustments to that, we can. So this is how you do a stem and leaf plot from the beginning. We're going to do right now is we're going to make a list of the ages of the moms. All right, now that we have listed all of your mom's ages over on the right, I think that we worked it out pretty well that it is 30s through 50s. So what you do is, since it's 30s through 50s, I'm going to let the stem be the tens place, and I'm going to let the leaves be the ones place. Okay, so this is what we do. We use the stems of 3, 4, and 5. So I'm going to go through every one of these, and we're going to put them on the right row. So I'm going to start with 40. 40 has a stem of 4 and a leaf of 0. Make sure you fill this in and so you understand how we go. 35, stem of 3, leaf 5. 44, stem 4, leaf 4. 37, stem 3, leaf 7. 44, so stem 4, leaf 4. 48, stem 4, leaf 8. 42, stem 4, leaf 2. 40, stem 4, leaf 0. Okay, who wants to tell me where the 36 goes? James. Stem 3, so right by that 7, leaf 6. What about 41? Where does it go? Tristan? So it's the stem 4, and we put leaf 1. 50, stem 5, leaf 0. 47, stem 4, a leaf of 7. 42, a stem of 4, a leaf of 2. 35, a stem of 3, leaf 5. 41, so stem of 4, leaf 1, and then finally 36, a stem of 3, a leaf 6. So you do the first run through of the data by filling in the leaves as they come through. Now, sad to say that's not done, and my problem is that now I have to go scroll down, and I'm going to end up losing that, but I'm going to try to do it over here now. Okay, so let's try to make this look a little better just like this. You have to do another one. So I'm going to do my stem here and leaves here. Stem and leaves. So I'm going to do stem 3, 4, and 5. To clean it up, what that means is you put the leaves in numerical order from least to greatest. So let's look at that stem of 3. I've got a 5, 7, 6, 5, 6. What should I write so that those are listed in order from least to greatest, Shyla?
You would put 5, 5.
You don't put commas in them.
6, 6, and then 7.
So 5, 5, 6, 6, 7. Okay, so that took care of that. Now let's look at the 4s. So 0 is the smallest. How many zeros do I have? So 2 zeros. That'll take care of those 2. How many 1s? So 2 1s. How many 2s?
2, 1.
2 2s. No 3s. There's a couple of 4s.
2.
No 5s. No 6. There's a 7 and an 8. Okay, and then for the 50, there's just 1. For the stem 5, there's just 1. So you go back and put them in order. If you do not put them in order, it's not right. Because what you want is you want your numbers listed so that they're in order from least to greatest. It's easy to read that way. Okay, so the most important thing with this, I'm going to put a little star down here. It's a thing called the key. You pick a number in the list. I'm going to pick 3/5. You write one of the numbers from the list. I'm going to put 3/5, and then you put what that equals. You're showing people what the answer key or what those numbers mean. So 3/5 really means 35. Because you got to understand, you could do a stem and leaf plot for a lot of different kinds of numbers. It could be 3/5 could mean 3.5, or it could be 350, okay, or 3,500. So it could mean a lot of different things. So you have to show for every stem and leaf plot what they really mean by using the key. Are there any questions about making a stem and leaf plot from scratch? You decide on that. You go to the smallest to the biggest number, figure out what your stems are, put the leaves in, and then go back and put them in order. All right, there was a couple of questions from our stem and leaf plot, and now that I've had to erase it, I'm going to have you guys rely on what you have written there. Once you do have a stem and leaf plot, you can answer questions about it. What's the youngest age? What's the youngest age on the ones that we had? 35. That would be the first number that you would have on the list. What was the oldest age? 50. So that would be the last leaf that you would have on the list. And then the interval with the most ages. Which interval has the biggest set of leaves? The 40s. So the interval with the most would be the 40s. Or you could say 40 to 49. The 40s have the most ages, and the interval is from 40 to 49. And notice how this is written over here. This is a really important part. Must have that key. You write the word key, and then you use one of the numbers from the list and show what it equals. Okay, questions about that? So you're going to have to answer questions based on what the stem and leaf plot looks like as well. All right, let's try another one that has a little bit of a different problem. It's just an example with some random numbers. 82, 95, 87, 101, 123. So what's the smallest number in that list? What's the smallest? 82. And what's the biggest number? 123. So my stems are going to go from 8 to 12. So sometimes the stems can be 2 digits. Just look how the numbers compare. So notice how I went ahead and put 8, 9, 10, and 12. If I look at the numbers, I've got 82. So stem 8, I'd put a 2. Where would the 95 go? And what would it look like? The 95, what would I do? Put a 5 on stem 9. What about 87? By the 8, and then 101. The 1 by the 10, and then 123. 3. Okay, notice the key's already written there. Let's pick one. Which one do you want to go with? Which one do you want to go with, James?
82.
So 8/2 equals 82 is what you would write on that. You could pick any number in the list you wanted. Doesn't have to be the first one every time. It could be any one. Okay, questions about that? We're going to finish up with looking at something called a back-to-back stem and leaf plot, and it's comparing two similar things, but it's exactly what it says. It's back-to-back. So you got to understand how it's set up so that you know, and that's going to be my thing that I need to tell you. We are comparing honey production in California versus Florida. So see, it's similar because it's all honey production, but it's in two different states. So the one on the left is California, the one on the right is Florida. So you've got to be really careful because it's back to back. The stem stays in the middle. And the thing that you've got to understand on the right-hand side, so over here, the leaves go from least to greatest. But on the other side, look what happens. 210. What's that mean? 210. What happened? They went, what, James? Greatest to least. They go in reverse. But you've got to understand, check out this key down here. It says 2/3 really means 32 million pounds. So you should read it in reverse. This is still the tens place, 32. But you read it 2/3 because you always read everything left to right. Okay, on the right, this key 2/0 means 20 million. 20 million pounds. Okay, so I wrote that one out just to show you the difference, that's what that means, 20 million pounds. Okay, now we've got some questions based on this, so let's see what they are. It asks, what state produces more honey? What state produces more honey? What do you think, Tristan? Just by looking at it, can you tell? Which one? Yeah, I would definitely go with California. Oops, that's still my highlighter. Yeah, I'd definitely go with California because it's got some in the 30s. A 32, a 31, and a 30, whereas the Florida one, they're all in the teens, a 14, 14, 14, 20, 20, 20, 22, and 24, whereas California, there's some in the 30s. Which one is the most varied? Anybody know what that word means? What's varied mean?
Like different kinds of honey.
Like different, not different kinds of honey, but varied means more spread out. So what has the more spread out amounts, James? Not that. You're thinking of the interval with the most. So look at California. California goes from what to what? Let's do it that way. What's the lowest number in California? 17 to what? 32. Okay, what about Florida? What's its smallest number? 14 to 24. Which one's the most spread out between 17 to 32? Is that farther apart, or 14 to 24? Okay, so California is the most varied. It's the more spread out. Questions about that?